This one people phone call.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, brothers and sisters, wa barakatuhu. Oh, this morning it is one of those tough mornings on a Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
When everybody is sleeping and you're awake. So anybody out there who's awake, give me a wave or just raise up your hands both as if you're starting to exercise. So today we have, you're listening to ZED on the Ramadan special, EAVA 102.5 FM. You know, every morning you come here and Saturday is a tough day because you keep thinking about everybody who's having a good sleep because it's holidays and it's 17 degrees out there today. Would you believe Alexa has just told us that it's 17 degrees out there, but so has my producer because he does not like Alexa. He loves just his own Google research here. So a lot of things been happening here. We had yesterday in the studio John Ashworth, and today we have one of the assets in the community. I'm going to sort of introduce you to him, or he will introduce himself. But what has been happening? We've had, what's the update on my brother Abdul Hamid? My producer is going to tell us what's the update on Abdul Hamid. So if anybody out there knows, then please flag it up and let us know. So we have already an early bird, Suraya Arden. Of course, I think Suraya, we should give her a hamper for being the first to connect with us this morning. So Suraya, come on down to the studio and collect a hamper for all you and your extended family. If you share it with them, they will love you for it, you know. So in this hamper is a lot of goodies that you can pass on to the whole family. So yesterday we were talking about John Ashworth. He came over. We had a little banter with him before, during, and also after. And we discussed a few prevalent things with him. He was only here for a very short period of time in the studio. Of course, it wasn't enough time to Zedify him. We needed at least an hour, and we only had about half an hour. He had a lot of engagements, and straight after he left here, he went to Masjid Omar for iftar over there. So Suraya Adam says, I will be in, inshallah. Suraya, let me know what time so I can be here myself personally to hand this hamper over to you and to take a photo with you, right? So you will be a recipient of a Zedified hamper. So come on over and let's take a photo. Bring your whole family with you. Even bring your extended family with you. We shall be able to manage all of them in one group photo. So that's what it's all about. So my brother Shakil Sidat is here with me this morning.
Assalamualaikum.
What a wonderful pleasure to see you this morning.
And pleasure to be here.
You are looking more lively than I am.
I hope so. I wish so.
So Shakil, in the next few moments, you're going to tell everybody why you are an asset in the community. Of course, we go through a very stringent process when we look for these assets in the community, and we have to look for them, read their application, look for their CV. Of course, there is no application as such, 14 pages long. It's a method that myself and my producer and the rest of the radio team say, hey, Zed, you know, so-and-so is really good. He is. I says, wow, what's he done? He said, he's done this, he's done that, he's done this. And this is how it goes. Then he says, he's a AIC, asset in the community. So of course, you guys, you must also know many assets in the community. So let's bring it on and let's have them here on the hot seat and talk to them. So Shakil, I want you to tell everybody out there listening, what exactly do you do?
Yeah, so it's an honor to be here actually. My name is Shakil Sidat and I'm the Director of Programs at Muslim Hands. So I've been working at Muslim Hands for nearly 9 years now in their programs team, and I look after all of the programs that Muslim Hands does globally and here in the UK. Before that, I had the opportunity to work abroad, working out in Malawi and working with some of the orphans and the schools out there. So really just over 10 years of charity work and dedication to the international development sector.
Of course, mashallah, the development of our community, all the charities in Leicester and all over England are partly responsible for community development because these young people who get attached to these charities and they do volunteer work, Without them, these charities could not function, could they?
No, you're right. The strength of a charity is obviously their volunteers, their people on the ground that can go out, distribute the messages, and help us fundraise sort of for the work that we do across the world. But community work in the UK is now becoming such an important part of charity work here in the UK. You'll see a lot of big UK charities now doing a lot more work here in the UK because the need in the UK is growing. And something that Muslim Hands is trying to do is, help people. We have quite a few UK programs here, so we work with the homeless people in the communities. We work with a lot of prison resettlement programs with a lot of Muslims that are going into prison work and then coming back out. So we've started a lot. We started a lot of community cohesion programs within the community, and like you said, as an organisation, we can't do work without our volunteers. And you see this Ramadan, hundreds of volunteers in and around Leicester, coming with buckets and asking for money. These are the heart of the charity, whichever charity it is. And, we're very grateful for having those people out there. It's hot today, it's at 17 degrees. You'll still see volunteers out there fasting and still collecting money for these charities. And, it's a credit to those volunteers.
Of course, I applaud Muslim Hands in that the initiative they took to support local initiatives all over the UK hemisphere. They're doing a lot of work to develop community cohesion. This week here at Radio Ramadan is Community Cohesion and Diversity Week. So one of the reasons why you are here today is because of the work that you are doing, and I hope that all the people listening out there in the charity sector will take a little heed from what Shakil has just said, that charities today in the UK should direct some of their collections into community development schemes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I think community development, we've seen it across the world in other communities in the US, in Canada, etc. Community cohesion is very important for the Muslim community, especially at this moment in time when we're, being seen in such a negative light in so many media. It's important for us as charities to be able to stand up and say, no, actually, look, our communities are good communities. We provide to the country, we provide to the economy, we provide to services within the community, and we're good people within the community. We need to showcase that, but not just showcase it. We need to become more, like you said, community cohesion. We need to be involved in the community. We need to get involved in more local institutions, not just the Muslim organizations, but we need to become more involved in the community organizations.
Of course, what Shakil is clearly explaining here is that we don't have to be vocal, we have to be active.
Yeah.
Active, and if we show our goodness through our actions, that is what it's all about, isn't it?
No, you're right. So we work with many communities up and down the country. We started a food bank in Hounslow in West London for the homeless to be able to come in, and one of the local communities, the police and the local police were very surprised when we said, no, this needs to be part of the community project. We want to get all faiths involved in this program. This is not just it's a Muslim Hands program, but it's not a Muslim-led program. We want this to be a community of Hounslow program. And it's important for us not to become isolated.
Is that the one in the Hounslow Mosque?
No, so we have our own, it's called the Open Kitchen. It's on Great Western Road. It's a building in itself on a corner. And that's open, twice a day for anyone to come in and receive food without question, and it helps people that are suffering with food poverty in the area of West London.
So of course this is an absolute great start with the Muslim Hands initiative to engage with a wider community and outreaching to all the people in the community, not only the Muslims in the community but all other communities, because like in the parties mentioned in London, it's very similar in population demographic to the city of Leicester, where you have so many different peoples from all over the world, and this is absolute humanity in action, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you're right. And it's important for us as a community not to do community cohesion just when there's a need to do this. Community cohesion is something that we should be doing every day of our lives. It's something that should be part of our, daily tasks. I can give you an example. So our Sri Lanka program, after the terrible bombings that took place there over Easter, there was a huge backlash against the Muslim communities within Sri Lanka. But alhamdulillah, our community cohesion program isn't just about the UK. We've been doing community cohesion in and around the world because of the work that we had been doing with the community, with the multi-faith institutes in Sri Lanka previous to the bombing. It's really helped us to try to support those communities that we'll be working with to make sure that they're not attacked in retaliation attacks, or they're not looked at in a bad light from the army. And alhamdulillah, we've been very lucky in Sri Lanka where our programs are, where our offices, we have very good connections to the local churches, to the local Buddhist temples. So we've not had that negative impact. In other areas of Sri Lanka they have. It's because we've done community cohesion as an important part of our program, and it's important to do this at any stage of your work and at any stage of your, not just charities but individuals as well. We should become more involved in community programs in and around the city.
Of course, this is very important what Shakil is talking about today, and I'm learning much from him today. He has totally redefined AIC, assets in community. He's totally redefined it to action in community. Right?
It's important.
So Shakil has come this morning here and he has brought action in community. Very good idea. Like we asked Peter Soulsby, we asked the councillors, we asked John Ashworth about the crime in our beautiful city of Leicester. Mm-hmm. And crime really brings in a lot of fear into the community. People, when they have to live around crime, be it a burglary, be it a knife stabbing, be it disarray, social behavior, anything to do with crime, it absolutely puts a frighteners into people.
Yeah, you're right. Crime is a horrible thing. Right?
And everybody becomes a victim in some shape or manner. So this is something that you could pick up on with your team, is a very, very productive high-level engagement with the crime commissioner and the superintendent in Leicester to collectively deal with this. So if you have 20, 30 stakeholders like yourself, to sit with them to say, look, let's work on this together as a community and make it work in one particular area.
Yeah, no, it's something that we have been looking at the moment. We're doing a new strategy for our UK programs in terms of what programs we should be doing in the UK. It's been about 4 or 5 years now. We've had the current strategy that we're working on, and we're trying to refresh that. And there's a lot of ideas that we have. Crime and homelessness is on top of that. But one of the things that we have been doing a lot of is our prison rehabilitation program. So unfortunately, we have a lot of Muslims that are in prison for many reasons, and a lot of women prisons, Muslim women who are going to prison for many other reasons. And and one of the things that we found, we did a very good research project on this actually, and we found a lot of women who are going to these, coming out of prisons, were not being resettled within their communities. And because of the taboo around women that go to prison, etc. And we found that, as a charity and as a community, we need to support these women because they have children, they've lost their families, they've lost their connection.
This is an initiative that Maqsood.
So Maqsood Ahmed.
So sir, is he OB now?
Yeah, he's OB.
Right, he's picked up on this, but he's at the moment he's gone away for Umrah, hasn't he?
Alhamdulillah, yeah, he has.
Is he back yet?
No, he'll be back in a few days.
So we need him here in the studio, don't we?
Inshallah.
To discuss that particular initiative. And just to remind our viewers out there, our listeners, also, we used to say listeners only now, but we also now have to say viewers because people are watching on the Facebook. And Ramadan special, you're listening to ZED on the Breakfast Show. It's not a breakfast show, is it at all? Because we are fasting. And where's the breakfast? We're listening to the AIC, Assets in the Community program this morning on Ramadan special, EAVA 102.5 FM. And here we don't only have an asset in the community in Mr. Shakil Sidat from the Muslim Hands charity, but also a person who has brought the AIC to another level, action in community.
Alhamdulillah, it's something that we do at Muslim Hands. We are quite strong about. We do, wherever we work, whether it be UK or overseas, we do have to have community involvement and stakeholder involvement in our programs. So something that we're very, very keen on and building in that community.
So, of course, the reason these guys are here in the studio with me is because they have taken community cohesion from a charity point of view to another level. In the past, we have every year in Ramadan, we have people walking through the door, they're donating to charities for a cause in Syria, in Yemen, in all parts of the world where there's famine, in Malawi. And sometimes I tell them, look guys, think about a project here in your locality and develop that project.
Right.
So yesterday we had Brother Ismail come from the Lindum Mosque, one of the fairly newish mosques, and they were looking for the sum of £24,000. And we discussed many issues with them as to how they could develop that mosque into doing some of the things what you have been talking about and much more.
Yeah, no, you're right. A lot of mosques, alhamdulillah, even the mosques in Leicester, I think they're developing now into more community cohesion programs. You see some of them.
Of course, and this is where they need your assistance, because you have picked up some experience in this, and you yourself will be tied to a local mosque in Leicester, and these are the kind of things to discuss with the younger people who are going to tomorrow sit in these committees, that the feedback we have received from all our listeners is that a mosque is a 24-hour building, like all buildings here. We're all here 24 hours a day, but are we really here 24 hours a day, Shakil?
Yeah, no, you're right. I think, the mosques for us play a very important role in our community, within the Muslim community, and it should play a larger role within the wider community within Leicester. We're lucky in our religion that we have such buildings, and they're such a core part of our, not just our religion, but our lives. We go pray there 5 times a day.
Yeah.
I would do our ceremonies there.
So we have 74 mosques.
MashaAllah.
Now, they were never designed around doing a very high level of community work because they didn't have the space. And some of these mosques, if you guys, your grandfathers, your fathers will have experienced, came out of a terraced house.
Yeah, you're right.
Back in the day, right? So those in the M generation, in the Z generation, they would not even know about these things. But many a mosque started in a terraced house in the city of Leicester. So here's a morning one for all of you listening, is if you know which is the first mosque that started up in Leicester and where it was, then that will probably qualify for what will that qualify for? Maybe a voucher? Yeah, that will qualify for a voucher, because the hamper, we could not afford to give you a hamper for that answer. But I don't think this will be available on the Google. You're going to have to ask your granddad for this one.
Yeah.
The mosque in Leicester. So we very much talk to the Lindum Street Mosque that take it into your program now to create a hub for the local community.
No, it's important. But I think mosques in Leicester and in around the UK are now becoming better. You see the mosque in Cambridge that's opened up, and the Eco Mosque that's opened up, and the work that they're doing within their community.
Have you been there to that mosque?
No, I haven't, alhamdulillah, but I'm planning to go very soon, inshallah, actually. But they're doing a lot of good work. And I think even in the UK, even in Leicester, actually, now, some of the more local initiatives are coming out of religious institutions, and it's good to see. And it's something that we should not just talk about, we should be promoting, we should be supporting these mosques and these initiatives that the mosques are doing within their communities. And it's important. We should be going out to the community rather than just having individuals come to the mosque, at certain times. But the mosque needs to take more of an active role within their community.
We had in the studio here one of the local community centres called Wesley Hall, and in the midst of closure, because the funding has been pulled out of them. Now, traditionally, there are no better fundraisers than the Muslim community throughout England.
Yeah, you're right.
And imagine if there's a mosque out here facing closure. Right?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a situation where a mosque, let's say a mosque is a community centre, I've never come across one that is facing closure.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? So here we have a situation where they're facing closure and they're offering a lot of services to the local community. So how about, Shkil, we look at the list of these facilities they offer, learn from them, and be able to offer them in the mosques that have got facilities to assist them, to guide them, to help them.
Yeah.
Some of the experience you've picked up, you can share with them.
No, you're right. Mosques are evolving, but coming back to what you were saying about cuts, funding cuts. This is the time. We live in a society where there are funding cuts for whatever reason, and we take an example and of our libraries. You see the work that our libraries are doing, and when we were growing up, libraries were part of the community. But now, with funding cuts that are taking place, libraries are now being closed. And it's something that we, as our religious institutions, whether they be mosques or community centres, need to look at what services libraries were providing, and say, look, let's stop providing these. Let's stop providing homework help clubs. Let's stop providing reading sessions. Let's start bringing people in.
Develop our poetry. Develop our inventive innovation skills. Offer antenatal. Offer prenatal. Offer these support groups, and not to forget the old people in our community,
right.
To give them a space. Even they need space.
No, you're right.
Right? Where they can meet with other old people. And again, I remind members in the community that one of the centres in Leicester, called the Mayman Centre, have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Mayman Centre is off the Uppingham Road, and they have an initiative. We can't name the brothers who actually run that initiative due to GDPR rules. They have forbidden us to talk about them. They like to do things in a reclusive manner.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look around, you will see these brothers. They're offering the support on volunteer basis to encourage the older people. They pick them up from home. Mm-hmm. They bring them there to the centre, and they have a luncheon session there, and so on. So we have, my producer is putting a cursor around 50 there. That means, Shakil, in radio language, you have 50 seconds to go. Now, because this is a very diverse station here, Brother Shakil, that we have issues of speaking each other's languages, then we communicate with the cursor on the screen. Right? That's how we do it here. So we obviously will have a little break very shortly, and then we shall come back in our next session and talk more about some of the good initiatives Brother Shakil has mentioned. And while we're on a break, we're going to research more of what Wesley Hall are doing and make notes. So brothers and sisters, don't go away. We're only going to have a little short break to charge our batteries, and you do likewise, and we shall be back very shortly. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, I just want to say a big jazakumullahu khairah for all of you who donated to help me build this city retreat here in Leicester. Alhamdulillah. With your help, we almost finished off the building work. We've completed 2 prayer halls, wudu areas, 2 offices, a kitchen area, a basement area, subhanallah. And we've delivered many amazing services with your donations to boot. For example, we've helped countless homeless people through our night shelter on the coldest days of winter for the past 3 years, as well as hosting thousands of individuals to pray Jummah and their daily prayers. Many have taken Shahada here, and they've been looked after in our weekly study circles and new Muslim support programs. Hundreds of youth have been empowered each month, and exhibitions about this beautiful faith have been held. Alhamdulillah. This Ramadan, you can gain an amazing reward by helping us to finish off our final building works and create a garden and a cafe for our guests. We just need £27,000 more to finish off all of our work. Let's seek the night of power in these final 10 days of Ramadan by doing acts of worship for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This can be better than 83 years of ibadah. One way to gain this is to pay your sadaqah to support others to learn about the faith of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah rewards the deeds of a believer in this month from 10 to 700 times. For the fasting person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards that deed directly, subhanAllah. Find Laylatul Qadr, get rewarded for your fasting directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, up to 700 times reward and manifold increase. What are you waiting for? Hit that donation button right now and share the video. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, I just want to say a big jazakumullahu khairan for all of you that have donated to help me build this city retreat here in Leicester. Alhamdulillah. With your help, we have almost finished off the building work. We've completed 2 prayer halls, wudu areas, 2 offices, a kitchen area, a basement area, subhanAllah. And we've delivered many amazing services with your donations to boot. For example, we've helped countless homeless people through our night shelter on the coldest days of winter for the past 3 years, as well as hosting thousands of individuals to pray Jummah and their daily prayers. Many have taken Shahada here, and they've been looked after in our weekly study circles and new Muslim support programs. Hundreds of youth have been empowered each month, and exhibitions about this beautiful faith have been held. Alhamdulillah. This Ramadan, you can gain an amazing reward by helping us to finish off our final building works and create a garden and a cafe for our guests. We just need £27,000 more to finish off all of our work. Let's seek the night of power in these final 10 days of Ramadan by doing acts of worship for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This can be better than 83 years of ibadah. One way to gain this is to pay your sadaqah to support others to learn about the faith of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah rewards the deeds of a believer in this month from 10 to 700 times. For the fasting person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards that deed directly, subhanAllah. Find Laylatul Qadr, get rewarded for your fasting directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, up to 700 times reward and manifold increase. What are you waiting for? Hit that donation button right now and share the video. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, I just want to say a big jazakumullahu khairan for all of you that have donated to help me build this city retreat here in Leicester. Alhamdulillah. With your help, we have almost finished off the building work. We've completed 2 prayer halls, wudu areas, 2 offices, a kitchen area, a basement area, subhanAllah. And we've delivered many amazing services with your donations to boot. For example, we've helped countless homeless people through our night shelter on the coldest days of winter for the past 3 years, as well as hosting thousands of individuals to pray Jummah and their daily prayers. Many have taken Shahada here, and they've been looked after in our weekly study circles and new Muslim support programs. Hundreds of youth have been empowered each month, and exhibitions about this beautiful faith have been held. Alhamdulillah. This Ramadan, you can gain an amazing reward by helping us to finish off our final building works and create a garden and a cafe for our guests. We just need £27,000 more to finish off all of our work. Let's seek the night of power in these final 10 days of Ramadan by doing acts of worship for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This can be better than 83 years of ibadah. One way to gain this is to pay your sadaqah to support others to learn.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Brothers and sisters, you are listening to ZED on the morning AIC program on Ramadan special EAVA 102.5 FM. I have here in the studio with me Brother Sheikh Sidat from the Muslim Hands charity, and we're having some wonderful discussions here. Brother Sheikh, something amazing has happened. I've just noted on my Facebook screen that there's a brother there, Sherwag. He's woken up.
Oh, wow.
This has not happened before. He's been on the radio team for many years, almost since it started, and he's not an early bird.
Oh.
So I need Sherwa to call us right now on 0116-212-9324 and explain to us which appointment he has this morning that has made him wake up. Otherwise, we'll be left in limbo. So, Brother Ashkil, we're moving on now with some of the initiatives you were discussing, which I want you to carry on with now to tell us.
Yes, I was talking about the libraries program and how we, as a community, need to help look at these libraries. You know, literacy in children is such an important part, and it's so important, especially for an organisation like Muslim Hands. We really feel like, you know, literacy in children and education of children is such an important part of our community. And Muslim Hands has an initiative called the Young Muslim Writers Awards. If you go online and search it and Google it, you'll find a lot more information about this. This is an opportunity for our young children within the community, across the country actually, to write poetry, to write short stories, to write any kind of literacy, to hand that in, and there's a judging panel, and actually quite a respective judging panel. Some of them are ex-authors or current authors, some of them are publishing houses. And, you know, those children that get win the awards, they're able to, you know, go to an award ceremony and participate in an award ceremony, and actually quite good for young children to get them excited about writing.
So give us an idea, how old are these children?
So they range from about 8 years old up to about 16 years old.
So this is a very good initiative. So you get an 8-year-old who writes a poem even.
That's right.
I mean, that could be his start of a journey
And
to the world of journalism even.
A lot.
Right? And this is very important. From the age of 8, they start writing and their work is showcased. And is there somebody to guide them, help them?
Yeah, so a lot of, we work with a lot of schools and teachers to make sure that they can go through that. And actually we were very surprised. The quality of the work that is coming out of these children is very good. And a lot of the winners, the ex-winners of the Young Muslim Writer Awards, have now got writing contracts and publishing contracts. So they're able to actually get their books published. We've had very successful authors who have come through this program, Muslim authors who have come through this program, and it's great to see these, you know, these children who are able, so passionate about writing. Alhamdulillah, the event takes place every November, and we hold the event in London. People are invited. It's a great initiative, and you know, for those of us that watch Islam Channel and other channels, the Young Muslim Writers Award ceremony is actually broadcasted on Islam Channel, so you may have seen it on Islam Channel. But it's a great initiative for young children to get involved in writing, to understand writing, but also to get passionate about writing. I think as a community we need to become more involved in literacy, more involved in writing and books, etc. So it's such an important initiative, and it's something that Muslim Hands has been doing for a number of years now, actually.
Of course, this is an absolute wonderful initiative. This is the reason we say AIC asset in the community, because they go completely out of the box thinking, and this is the way we have to develop for the next 20 years in having out of the box thinking. Perhaps later on I'm going to sit with the Muslim Hands and discuss the STEM initiatives with them, because just as writing is important, so is the STEM initiatives. For those of you who can Google that, and you'll find out the value of STEM to our community.
That's very important.
Very important. So brothers and sisters, if you have some beautiful ideas to take us forward, these guys are doing a lot of different types of work in the community. The works that they have taken on in the prisons is absolutely groundbreaking, and we need more of you to get involved in community development initiatives here. It's very, very important. So if you have any ideas, let us know. Even if you have an idea, well, this idea will help reduce the crime or eliminate the crime. If you work on it together with the stakeholders in the city, that would help, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you're right. I think, you know, whatever we do within communities, we have to do it as a collective. You know, this is not just about Muslim Hands doing it in isolation, because, you know, in isolation we're very weak. You know, any organization is weak, small within as an individual. But if we come together as a community, as groups of charities, as groups of communities, we're a lot stronger. We have a larger voice. We have a large stakeholder involvement. So it's important for communities to come together, individual organizations to come together. So it is something that we need to do, not in isolation, but as a collective, as a community.
That is what we like to do, is network throughout
right.
the country. Early on in the week, we were taking it upon ourselves to call other radio stations who are active in Radio Ramadan and having a chat with them to see what they are doing, exchanging with them with some of the work that we are doing, and sharing with them.
Yeah.
So likewise, if we do that within each other, imagine where we'll be today.
Yeah, you're right. We're stronger as a joint community rather than separated, segregated communities. It's a lot weaker. But if we were to come together, and in Leicester, alhamdulillah, we're very lucky that we're such a multicultural community. Even the Muslim community within Leicester is very multicultural. We have strength in that. We should find that different people, different communities, different groups of communities bring strength in their own communities they have.
Of course, this we could really change mindsets, couldn't we? So if certain people will say, I go to that mosque and I don't go to that one, I only go to this one. They've already started to have a breakdown in the world of unity.
Yeah, that's
right. So if that mosque offered something which was close by to their house, if a lady, she wanted some antenatal, prenatal help, and she went to that building for that reason, that will bring her back and her children back to engaging with that particular building.
Yeah, like you said, it's about the organizations in the Leicester, the buildings in Leicester, the institutions in Leicester, providing more services. You talked about Wesley Hall and seeing what services they provide, and there's a gap within society which needs to be filled, and I think we as a community and our mosques within the community are in a great position to fulfill those gaps. So it's important.
Absolutely important. So brothers and sisters, if you're listening out there, you're listening right now to Ramadan Special EAVA 102.5 FM. So if anybody can ring in and say that jingle as good as me, then bring it on and let's hear it. Right? If you get it right, you're going to get a voucher for that. Ramadan Special EAVA 102.5 FM. Even one of our best presenters here came along and he says 102.5 FM, and he was all confused. He didn't know what to do next, and my producer was going crazy there back in the window, and even he made a mistake. So when you say it fast, another thing, when you ask people to say fast, they don't get it right,
Yeah.
And that one, I'll have a go with you, Sheikh. Yeah? If you plan to fail, you fail to plan.
Yeah, true.
Can you say that?
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Exactly. He got it right. He got it right. A lot of people get it wrong,
Yeah.
In fact, when I said it wrong, but Shakil picked up on it and he corrected it. So this is how fast Shakil is, So you give it to us again, Shakil.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
That's it. Now let's put some jingle into it.
No,
Go for it, Shakil. Go for it. Make it fun. I have a young Fatima there in the studio. She's going to have a go at saying that when she comes into the studio. Yeah. If you fail to plan,
you plan to fail.
You plan to fail. Can you say that, Fatima? Okay. Have a little practice over there with Akil, and then when you got it right, then you come and say here on the mic. So that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fair.
Let her have a little practice, because she's only very, very, very young, 10-year-old. So this is how it goes. So brothers and sisters, you have to give us a little bell and tell us about your wonderful initiatives in the community. And very shortly, we're going to have another guest, a walking guest, who we are going to give a prize to this year. Yeah. Every year, we find a youngster, an aspiring youngster, who comes here to the studio, and then we watch them develop.
Good.
And get better and better with what they are doing in the community. We've had a 12-year-old who is today 16, and he is writing poetry. One of the poems he wrote was picked up by the local Jewish community as the best poem out of 150 selected from schools.
Oh.
And that was a Muslim boy, and he wrote a poem about as if he was a Jewish boy in the war-torn region in Gaza, Palestine, Israel, all those areas.
Oh, very interesting.
And very interesting. Maybe I'll share that poem with you.
Yeah, please do.
And he won a prize from them, and his poem was selected, and then he had to come and read it in one of their functions.
Oh wow.
So that's an achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great achievement. It's like I was talking about the Young Muslim Writers Awards. It's important for us as a community to really, support our children and support our young communities in writing. It's not something that, we should tell them not to do or not to get involved. Reading books and writing is such an important skill set for children to have, and especially when growing up, it's something that, we should be supporting. We should be, getting our children much more involved in.
When I look around in the community and I look back, I say that if we don't have initiatives put in place for our children at the age of 5, 6 onwards, you can forget about trying to put an initiative together for them when they are 17.
Yeah.
And people keep talking about youth club, youth club, youth club. I'm saying no, start them off at the age of 6.
Yeah.
Right?
It's very important. The vision of Muslim Hands has always been around children. It's always been around education at a very young stage, whether that be primary level here in the UK or overseas. It's very much about children. We believe, children are the next generation. They're the future of any society, any community, and it's very important. When I was working out in Malawi, we had a school out in Malawi, and we're speaking to some of the mothers out in Malawi and the children out in Malawi that we were helping.
As soon as you say the word Malawi, there's a lot of people jumping out of their chairs, right? Because there's people here in Leicester, quite a lot of people in Leicester here from Malawi. In fact, somebody better contact me here and tell me how many people are in Leicester from Malawi. And then after that, I'm going to ask a little bit more difficult question to them, right, about the stats in Malawi. There are 3-4 main cities in Malawi. We'll also, while you're at it, you can even name those cities for us, and we shall talk about them. You see, there's a lot of people from Malawi here.
No, you're right.
And every time I do a program, I talk about them because they're also a huge asset in the community. So we're going to read some messages here. Brother Ashfaq has sent us a message saying the first mosque in Leicester was Sutherland Mosque. Well, he's not quite spelt it right. He spelled Suther, but I've got a drift of what you meant, Sutherland Mosque. And we have Asiya. She's asking, is it only poems or also stories?
It is. There's also short stories.
Short stories as well.
If you go on our website, if you search Google Young Muslim Writers Awards, a lot of the information is there, and you'll be able to see who the judges are. You'll be able to see some of the past work that's been done. So, I do say to everyone that's interested in that program, do go on the website, have a look on the website, and we're always amazed to see the quality of work that comes out of our children and our communities, and it's such an important thing. I'd love to be at the event in November this year, inshallah, and have one of the winners from Leicester. We always don't seem to be from Leicester. They seem to be either from up north. Or
somebody from Leicester?
No, I would love to see someone from Leicester win an award at the Young Muslim Writers Awards. So
come on, guys, step up now, and let's have it. We need some of you young people coming out with some wonderful poems, stories, so we can put them up into the writers' competition.
Yeah, that's right. We have, and like I said, it's a great step for especially those that are coming to the end of their young lives, so around 15, 16 years old. It's a great opportunity for them to meet with publishing houses, to meet with people that are very well connected. We have the director of the English Institute there who comes and is one of the judges, but just having that ability to speak to them, and a lot of our past winners have got publishing contracts and have put them on a great career path. So do get involved is something that's a very great initiative.
We have Brother Shirwak here. He's on top form today. I don't know what's happened. Somebody better call him and find out what's going on, because he's very active today. Zed, we need more youth clubs. And then he's put a smiley on there, right, because is the famous one from youngsters. We need more youth clubs. To do what in them? What are you going to do in them? Tell me. Let me know. And if he tells me, we want to play snooker and we want to play pool, and then he's way behind in what's going on today in the world. So Ashfaq is saying, every Friday night we have youth club. Where do you have youth club every Friday night? At the Mayman. So Mayman Center, right? So here we go again. The Maymans, they have All People's Club, they have Friday Youth Club, so we need all the community to go there to that youth club.
Yeah, no, it's important, like you said. It's for the community.
And we then can introduce the Mayman community to the outside world.
Yeah, no, you're
Right?
It's important.
That is community cohesion. So we have another message here. It's 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. That is very late. All kids needs to what? 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. is not a good time for the kids, is it? At all.
No, it's a bit late.
It's very late, that is. So you guys got to change your time. So here we have Irfan. He's saying we need more Sherbak in the community. Of course, that is absolutely true. We need lots of them. Lots of them. We have another message here. Salams to all. Hope everybody enjoying the Ramadan. Few days left, so dig into your pockets and do good deeds. Earn your sawab. Support the needy. Teach your youngsters not to be materialistic. Of course, this is a society issue. Climbing that social ladder, right, is one of the problems of society the world over.
Yeah, you're right.
So when we start in humble beginnings, we do our education. You go nursery, primary, secondary, uni, you get a degree, you get a job, you climb the social ladder, you jump from a terrace to a semi to a detached to the countryside. You are climbing the social ladder, you're hobnobbing with people who are an asset to you, and you forget about where you started, your humble beginnings, brothers and sisters. This is what it's all about, is having the ability to come back down the ladder and working with the people who need your help. So Brother Shakil, it's like you're doing a relay, and like I'm 50 plus now, right? So I'm passing the baton down to the time zone below me, and then they're passing the baton down to the time zone below them.
Yeah, it's important.
So passing the baton, what that means, brothers and sisters, is you are assisting those younger than you with your skill sets, with your knowledge, with your hard-earned cash, and you're helping to develop them. And likewise, they're doing it to the zone below them.
Yeah.
And this is the formula of community development, which one of the brothers told me about, which I'm sharing with you. So on the radio here, we ask you to come up with the ideas, and that was one of the beautiful ideas I heard, passing the baton down.
Yeah, no, it's important. You know, all organizations need to understand long-term sustainability plans, long-term plans for their organization have to be with the youth, have to be with those that are taking over from their organization. So it's important to pass the baton down and teach the youngsters and teach the other communities, the younger communities, you know, lessons that have been learned by previous communities, and let them understand what's important.
Of course, if we set the bar here in the city of Leicester, not only in our immediate communities where we live, but to the extended community outside of the city, this city could set the bar for the whole world.
Yeah, you're right. I think
not for the country United Kingdom PLC, but for the whole wide world.
Yeah, I think Leicester's
right. So brothers and sisters out there, join myself, Shakil, and all of the people who are with this initiative, including Tariq Islam. Do you know Tariq Islam?
No.
He's one of the community champions. So guys, we've got our guests in the studios. Can we bring them in here? They're going to receive a wonderful gift from us today.
Sure.
And Brother Shakil here is going to do the presentation. This is for a hamper that we are giving to one of our aspiring young people in the community.
Sure.
And we like to encourage them,
Great.
give them more confidence, inspiration. And you know, they come to the studio early in the morning. We have to appreciate that. So come on in, guys, don't be shy. Zed will take care of you. And Brother Shakil here is here to take care of you also. So if you can come inside, you know, in the studio here, we can move on. So Irfan Chatbar, he's also a late sleeper and he's awake this morning. So Shirwa can send a message in saying 7,953. That was for the number of people from the Malawi. Wa alaikum salam. Come inside, pull this chair over, and let's hear. You brought a story today?
I wrote a poem.
You wrote a poem. He's the man. He's the man for poems. Brother Shakil here. Go on, sit down here. First of all, introduce yourself, and then let's listen to your poem. What's your name?
Fatima.
Assalamu alaikum, Fatima.
Wa alaikum salam.
And you brought your two sisters with you as well?
Yeah.
In the studio. And what is their names?
Safia and Aisha.
Safia and Aisha. Assalamu alaikum. How old are you? Aisha is how old?
She's 3.
And Safia, come closer to the mic, please.
8.
8. MashaAllah. 3, 8, and you are?
10.
10. 10, mashallah. So come closer to the mic and then let's hear your poem.
Read
Everybody
Quran.
be ready? Listen.
Read Quran, Alhamdulillah, moon calendar, Allahu Akbar, Deen, holy month, Al-Islam, night of power, Ramadan again, pray surahs and Quran too, but also fast, Ramadan again, rewards to gain, fast to keep, try not to weep.
Mashallah, that was wonderful.
Excellent, yeah.
Let's hear it again. This time a little bit slower.
Read Quran, Alhamdulillah, moon calendar, Allahu Akbar, Deen, holy month, Al-Islam, night of power. Ramadan again, pray surahs and Quran too, but also fast. Ramadan again, rewards to gain, fast to keep, try not to weep.
Mashallah, that was absolutely wonderful. This is what inspires me to come here every day to listen to these beautiful children when they perform these recitations and they take time out. And of course, one of the best gifts for a parent, all you parents out there, is to have beautiful children like this who are doing well. And obviously, it's very proud for the father. And your good name is? Your father's name is?
Hanif.
Hanif. You see, the father is even a little bit shy, isn't your father? Right? He's not shy when he's doing his charity work,
Yeah.
right? And so on. So ask her, when did she, my producer is sending these messages up there all the time, right? So when did you write this poem?
I wrote it like a few weeks ago, but I just copied it down now.
MashaAllah. So do we have your permission to put this on our website?
Yeah.
Yeah? And we're also going to send it to Shakil's organization so that they will add it to the competition. Is that okay, Brother Shakil?
No, you should do.
So,
it's a very good
Brother
program.
Shakil, I would like you to present them with this beautiful hamper, right? So this is a very special hamper with a lot of Ramadan goodies in there for the girls. So if you can just stand with him and we will take a picture as well. So recipient of this hamper provided to us by the one and only Regal. That was absolutely wonderful. I'm trying to now remember and memorize that poem. So we're just having some photos taken in the studio right this minute, brothers and sisters. So do get involved, bring your children over. This is absolutely the way forward. Get your children involved at a very, very early age in doing good community work. Did you enjoy that, Fatima?
Yeah.
MashaAllah. So who is it that wakes up early to listen in your family?
I wake up the earliest.
You wake up the earliest. Now, brothers and sisters, sadly we are coming to the end of this program and Brother Shakil will say salams to you
Walaikum salam.
and we will join you tomorrow. Jazakallah khair, brothers and sisters. Look forward to meeting you tomorrow.